Go ahead, Sam.
And welcome into Press Box Live, a Monday edition of Press Box Live. And if it's Monday, I've got Luke Jackson, the managing editor of Press Box, PressBoxOnline.com. Luke, raise your hand so people don't get confused between you and Ross Grimsley.
I'm raising my hands right now.
All right, all right,
Okay.
all right.
There you
Nobody's confused now because the other one wearing number 29's hat is that a Ken Singleton hat?
Yes, it is. I
Is that
promote him all the time.
all right? You do a lot for him. I thought it might have been a Sammy Basayo hat. Uh, but number
Not
29,
yet.
no,
Not yet.
number 39 for the Baltimore Orioles. And you also wore 48 with the Orioles, right?
48 was, yeah, I wore that just about everywhere. I had my first year, I had 39, and I got 48 from George Stoller. He gave it to me.
All right.
So that
That's a
was
good
very
one.
nice of him to do. So, yeah.
Well, that's the old left-hander, Ross Grimsley. We are brought to you by our friends at the Costas Inn with two great locations now, and now with the fair, the Timonium Fair, Maryland State Fair over at Timonium. This is really a great time of year to stop by the new Costas Inn. We'll talk more about it. And of course, if you want your steam crabs, you got to go to the old location, the old great location at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The new location, of course, the up up on the grandstand at Timonium Race Course right next to the OTB. And we'll talk more about that midway through. Guys, we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, other than the ending, how did you enjoy the play, Mrs. Lincoln, last night? Ross, did you watch the Ravens game last
Oh,
night?
yes, I watched. Well, you text me and told me about Derrick Henry, and I'm going, well, what the hell's going on with him?
Right,
Well, he had 100 plus yards in the first half,
right.
and he was rolling. And so I wasn't able to watch the first half, but I did watch the second half, and it turned out not real good. I was
No.
absolutely amazed at what Buffalo did and Josh Allen and some of the plays that went down, but overall, yeah, that was everybody was stunned. I think at the end of the game.
Not a great way, Luke, to open your season. And amazing, as great as Derrick Henry is. And I was laughing the whole night, Luke, that we finally got one on the cover that was having a great game. And for the second time in a row in Buffalo, he shuffled off the ball in Buffalo.
Yeah, that was rough, Stan. That
Yeah.
was that was a rough one. Just couldn't get a knockout punch on defense, couldn't get a knockout punch on offense. And when you let Josh Allen hang around, this is what can happen.
What
And
happens with great quarterbacks?
yeah, I mean, he made some incredible plays. So did Lamar. And I mean, the play that is going to stick in my head all week is the tip ball touchdown. When
Oh yeah.
there are about 3.5, 4 minutes left at that point,
We
Bills
all
get
knew
up
once that
15,
happened, it was
and it's just kind of a fluky tip ball that ends up in a Bills player's hands, and then the fumble happens, and then it's game on from that point on.
yeah, it was a crazy one. There's no question about it. We'll talk more about football as we go on. 41-40. Buffalo Bills had not come back from a 15-point fourth quarter deficit since 1967 when they did that against the New York Jets. And I'm not even sure if they were in the NFL that year. They may have been in the old AFL.
Right.
AFL,
That
yes.
might have been the last season. Anyway, remarkable comeback by Buffalo, and the same old bugaboos are bugging the Baltimore Ravens after just one game. And look, they're going to win 13 games during the regular season. But that defense has got a lot of work to do now, and the coaching staff is looking out for them. Um, I wrote Luke, which you edited. I kind of juxtaposed the excitement of Saturday night's victory, which a lot of people around town today are telling me is one of the best games they've ever seen. They were down 3-0 with two out in the ninth inning. The bottom of the ninth inning, Jackson Holiday hits the no hitter, the home run that broke up the no hitter by Yamamoto. By the way, my brother researched it. Do you know that his great great grandfather is like the one who was the admiral in the Japanese Navy?
Hojo Yakamoto.
Yeah, that that during the
Really?
Pearl Harbor attack, unbelievable. But anyway, an unbelievable performance and an unbelievable comeback. But the juxtaposition of that victory, which meant nothing other than it was a great way to cap off a great celebration Saturday night versus last night's loss by the Ravens. Luke?
Yeah, yeah, and I think I made the comment to you, Stan, during the game that Yamamoto was honoring 21-31 by pitching like Mike Messina.
Yeah,
I mean, he was terrific. I mean, elite stuff, 4 or 5 different pitches that he was putting wherever he wanted to put them. And I mean, it reminded me of like watching old Mike Messina. And so, but Jackson got him when he was looking for out number 27. And then it ended up being that I think 6 batters reached. I mean, what are the chances of that?
yeah.
I mean, and
About
you
the same
mentioned
chances as the Ravens losing.
right, right. Probably less than 1%. And I just had a strange feeling about Emmanuel Rivera. I like that matchup for him.
Yeah,
I really did. And Dave Roberts at that point was just hoping against hope, I think, because he brings in Tanner Scott. He doesn't even have the platoon advantage. And
right.
so Emmanuel Rivera gets the job done. Um,
Well, they
but
couldn't watch Blake Trinan
right.
walk or hit 4 straight batters.
Right,
So
right, and amazing. Just it was a really well done celebration by the Orioles, and what a way to cap it off. It was now who knew at the time that we were going to get the exact opposite 24
yeah,
hours later.
Ross, we're so obsessed with pitch count now, and trust
Oh,
me, I get it. Nobody wants Yamamoto with his injury history a year ago and the length of his contract. You don't want him throwing 135, 140 pitches, but it's like the second he got sort of in the danger zone of 105 pitches, as soon as he gave up the no hitter, don't you really reflect that Dave Roberts overreacted? Just let him get the one more out,
yeah,
or at
that's
least give
yeah.
him one more batter. You know,
You know, I think coaching staffs, pitching coach, manager are so they worry so much about injuries now,
yep,
and you know you really can't do that because it takes away from the game and the pitcher. You know, I mean, there's more into it obviously than that, but that's the first thing on guys' minds is I'm going to hurt him. You know, and you start thinking that way, you're going to make poor decisions, and I've seen that over the years. And as a pitching
I,
coach,
I
I
almost
never.
understand, Ross. I almost understand taking him out after 8 innings if you're that concerned, as opposed to
Oh
taking
yeah,
him out once he's retired 2 guys and giving up 1 hit. That could have been a bunt single, and I get the feeling that Dave Roberts would have done the exact same thing, taking him out.
probably so. I mean, which is kind of. I mean, he that was. I don't know how many pitches he had,
I
but
think it was 105,
that
107,
was an
something.
easy. I mean, you can throw 75 pitches and 120 pitches, and those 75 are more taxing on you than the 120.
Yeah,
And this guy just breezed through the lineup.
yeah.
You know, he was throwing strikes with all of his pitches. He was around the plate. He was locating, got ahead of hitters, and like you said, uh, and soon as the home run was hit, and something in the back of my mind, and just watching as many games as I've been around and watched, you can tell how the tide kind of turns sometimes. And was I surprised what happened? Not really,
I
because
wasn't either once they took
you
him
you
out of it.
you had seen the things that were going on, and then when he brings Scott in, I'm going. That's Rivera hits left-handers. This is not a good matchup for you guys. Plus, the other guy, the right-hander, couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
then they hit Henderson. I mean, it just everything was falling into place for him, and it was just a matter of.
You
I
know,
thought the ball that Rivera hit was a ground ball. I thought it hit the plate and bounced up, but
right.
actually it was a kind of humpback liner to
Black
center.
liner, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what's amazing is that Yamamoto gets the first two outs fairly easily, and it
Very
turns into
easily.
like a 26, 27 minute ninth inning.
Right.
It's just, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Um, um, it was fitting, as I mentioned, that the Orioles won on a night that they were celebrating Cal Ripken. But before we talk about the celebration of Cal, uh, just a word or two. I know you didn't play with Davy Johnson, but I know you rubbed elbows with him in competition. You pitched against him, and you also were pitching coach in the minors for the Orioles when he was managing the major league team.
Yeah, in '96, I was AAA pitching coach in Rochester and got to be around him. In spring training, I was around him a lot because I was at big league camp with Pat Dobson, who was the major league pitching coach. And Davey was a good guy. He was really, I mean, he knows his baseball. He's another guy that was into analytics before it was
Yeah,
fashionable because he was a mathematic major
yeah.
and he knew all the numbers and what have you. And he did it with a ruler and a pencil, and had all the information. But
And
yeah,
how did he hit you, Ross?
you know what? I think he probably hit me pretty good because he was with Atlanta. He was
Yeah,
with Atlanta with all those horses over there, Aaron Dusty,
Philippe
and
Alou.
yeah, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that was. I would have to look and see. I don't remember exactly, but playing against them, you hated to go into Atlanta and play in that ballpark because the ball flew out of there. And but yeah, Davey was a good guy. I tell you what, he let the players do their thing. Just follow the rules and do what you're supposed to do. But come to the park, do your stuff, go get them, and that's what. And I think a lot of people they love playing for him.
They're dwindling down the numbers today. I didn't do a full dive into it, but Jim Palmer, Boog Powell, now
Mhm.
Davy's gone. I see that Wally Bunker's still alive, and I see that Russ Snyder's alive. But I checked off a lot of guys that have passed away on that 66 first team to win a World Series
Yeah.
for the Orioles. Um, it's sad when they start to really,
And
dwindle.
we're seeing it more and more. I look at hear something on the social media, guys when I was with Seattle that are coaching that passed on, and just every day somebody comes up and you see them that have passed on, and it's very sad. And just you just go, wait a minute, I'm the same age. I'm older than some of these guys,
Yeah.
you know. So it makes you think. So I mean, you just enjoy the people you're around, and
Yeah.
you know, talk to them when you get an opportunity.
There was a guy on that 66 team, Gene Brabender. Do you remember that
Yep.
name, Ross? Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
looked him up today. I said, maybe he's still alive. He died at like 35 years of age, Gene Brabender.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He
Yeah.
had a short life.
Hey,
Short life.
Buford's still alive, isn't he? He's still here.
I think Don, some Buford, that's
I
terrible.
think
I think Buford's
him.
still alive.
Ronnie Hanson's still around,
Well, he
I
wasn't on
believe.
the 66 team.
Yeah, right, right. I'm just
We
trying to
had
think of guys that have
Louis,
played.
oh, and Louis Aparicio still alive.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's Boog Powell, Jim Palmer, Wally Bunker, Russ Snyder, Louis Aparicio. Five that I know of are still alive. All right,
Yeah,
I'll dig into that.
I got a '74 picture up here with guys, and I went through it one day, pointing. No, not here, not here, not here.
Yeah.
No, there's one here.
Is that the picture? Is that the picture from the airport?
No, no, no. This was 1974. It was some guy did a drawing of
Okay.
all the Orioles. They're funny looking, big heads and small bodies, that type of
Right,
thing.
right.
But it was yeah, a lot of guys are not with us any longer.
All
Pretty
right.
sad.
The flip side of that was the celebration, Luke, of Cal Ripken's 21-31. I thought most interesting was it marked the return of some people that, for various reasons, hadn't been, part of a celebration, part of Oriole folklore for a long, long time. Most notably, Rafael Palmeiro and John Miller. They were both invited by this Oriole management.
And John Miller was a big part of the celebration. He
Yeah,
narrated the video that everyone saw, very well done,
yeah,
and he introduced Cal
yep,
before as part of the ceremony. And I don't know how much Rafi has been around, but obviously his second stint with the club ended poorly
yeah,
for reasons everyone knows. So it was good to see him because, like as you mentioned, Stan, he's one of the greatest hitters in Orioles history.
yeah, yeah. No
Yeah,
question
and
about it. And look, I'm a firm believer that Palmeiro was not a some guy that accumulated great statistics through the use of steroids or any type of enhancements. I think he did. I think he was probably slipped something to help him at a time where he was aging. But I think he belongs in the Orioles Hall of Fame, and I would vote for him to be in the.
Probably belongs in the
Probably
Hall of Fame.
belongs in the Baseball Hall of Fame,
yeah,
no
Yes,
question.
really.
yeah.
Aren't many
And,
guys. There's not a long list of guys with 500 home runs and 3,000 hits.
Yeah,
Really.
Be
yeah,
one of
and
them.
Yeah.
if you're gonna do a 21-31 celebration right, I think he's got to be there because he
Yeah,
was such a big part of those mid '90s teams. And then Bobby Bonilla was there, another
yep,
big part of those teams. So and Mike Messina, of course, being the starting pitcher on 21-31 day. So they got all the right people back in town for that celebration.
yeah. And it was a nice little thing, touch, get inviting Brady, who was a very good
Yep,
friend of. He left on sort of, it wasn't nasty terms, but it was clear Mike Elias didn't
right.
want Brady around.
There's a few guys in that boat, Stan.
Yeah, yeah. But it was also nice that Ken Griffey was there, who I didn't quite get the fact that he hit the warehouse. They mentioned that, but
Right.
it was neat that he was there, and he got a huge ovation at Camden Yards. And Chris Berman was there, which was a nice touch because he was the announcer doing the game on radio. Actually, the guy doing the game on television, they were Lowenstein and Mel Proctor were doing the
Well, I think
games on.
Berman did the game nationally for
He did the
ESPN.
ESPN game, but
Right,
the game was on locally,
right.
and Mel Proctor and John Lowenstein, I think, did the game, if I recall correctly. Anyway, it was quite a celebration. I thought Cal's speech was, as he usually is, he gets it that people want to connect with him, but he didn't go on at great lengths. He kept it short and sweet, and I thought it was a nice celebration, and I thought resimulating the trip around the stadium in a Corvette was kind of pretty cool too. And then they did that thing in the fifth or sixth inning where Bonilla and Palmero and Cal were all in their uniform shirts, and they pushed him out on the field. And thank goodness he didn't run all the way around the that he ran down the first baseline to right field and waved and shook some hands. I thought it was a really nice celebration. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what else is nice to talk about is the Costas Inn. Costas Inn, two great locations, as we mentioned at the outset of today's show, 4100 North Point Boulevard, and everything's on the menu there. The crabs, the steamed crabs you love, the crab cakes, crab soup, nightly specials Monday through Friday, all manner of different chicken dishes, beef dishes, pasta dishes. Great. And they got the Maryland crab cakes, Maryland crab soup, all great. And now they've got their new location at the grandstand above Timonium Race Course, right next to the OTB, open for lunch and dinner every day of the week. The Costas Inn, same great menu, minus the steamed crabs at Timonium Race Course. If you haven't tried it yet, please do so. We know there are a lot of people that live in that Cockeysville, Timonium, Lutherville area that haven't been to the Costas yet at the new location. Stop by. You won't be disappointed. Guys, let's wrap up. Well, one of the ways we've got like 3 weeks left of the regular baseball season. And I think we'll continue to do this through October if that's okay with you guys, through the World Series. You okay with that, Luke?
Yeah.
All right. I may need to ask you to take one show off because I'm going to try and get BJ Surhoff one. I understand his autism charity, and I forget the name of it right now. That's terrible. But they're going to they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and BJ's going to join us. Talk about it. All right, they've got a couple of events coming up. We'll talk about that. All the great work he's done on behalf of those who suffer from autism. He and his wife Holly uh, done a remarkable job. Um, I thought what we'd finish up with today is: do you get a sense, Luke, if I had to ask you for five guys? We know Gunnar is going to be here next year.
Hmm.
We know Luke uh, Jackson Holiday is going to be here. Sammy Basayo clearly is going to be here now. But if I had to ask you for five other guys that have played their way into at least being in the conversation for significant roles next year, could you name those five?
Sure. Let's start with Jeremiah Jackson,
Yep.
who I'll be honest with you, 2 months ago, I didn't know anything about him.
Right.
Uh, but he was a second round pick all the way back in 2018.
By the
He's from
Angels, right?
by the Angels. And so he's been on the prospect radar for quite a while. Didn't break through in previous stops. He's from Alabama, so I don't know if Gunner has known him for years and years. Maybe he has, maybe I don't know. But he was on like Team USA squads way back in the day. So I mean, I'm sure Michael Elias has known about this guy
Yeah.
for years and years at this point. I mean, he's a ball player. And I guess by trade, he's a second baseman. They've mostly played him in the outfield. They've tried him at third. I don't like him at third.
Don't
It's
like
been
him
all
either.
No.
it's been all Emmanuel Rivera at third now with Westberg out. So Jackson's been in right field a lot. Yeah, he had the one gaff, I think, in his first or second game in
In
right field.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
In Wrigley
Wrigley
Field.
Field. But since then, he's been fine out there. But he can swing it. He can really swing it, and so that's
All
been
right.
fun to see.
So,
And so
so
that's
give me a
one.
couple others. Give me a couple others.
Dylan Beavers, another outfielder who certainly looks the part physically. I saw him a lot in Aberdeen, and frankly, I didn't love the swing. I didn't think the swing was going to work in the major leagues. It's kind of that Kyle Stowers, Kyle Tucker sort of goofy. I don't know how to
It's like a
describe it.
push. It's like a push swing.
Right. It's
Yeah.
so I never thought that swing was going to work in the major leagues, and it has. And it worked, certainly worked in AAA. And so he has certainly played his way into the picture for 2026. Let's see.
How about any of the arms that, the club is going to have to totally revamp their
Hmm.
bullpen? Have Enns, Garcia, Sean Dubin, have any of those guys looked
Yeah.
like they're
Well,
like
Grant
you could?
Wolfram's got really good
And
stuff.
Wolfram, yeah,
Yeah, he's got really good stuff. He can throw up to like 97, and he's got a really good slider. It's just consistency. It, like in terms of his command from night to night, what are you going to get? You don't really know. But when he's throwing strikes, he's really, really good. And it's hard, particularly for left-handed hitters, to square up that slider. So that's one. Dietrich Enns is a little older. He's like 34. I think they just picked him up to help them get through the season.
yeah.
Uh, but
But he's opened my eyes a little bit,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean, he certainly has taken advantage of his opportunity. And what I like about him is that he can go multiple innings because he's got a pretty extensive history as a starter, particularly overseas. And
Yeah.
so that's been good. Um, so that's four. And I need one more. What do you get? You got to help me out, Stan. Anybody else?
How about Cade Stroud or Rico Garcia
Uh,
or Dubin?
I haven't seen enough of Dubin yet. We've only
Yeah,
seen him for about three outings. I'd like to see more of him. He's obviously got a good arm. He's one of those guys who's bounced around quite a bit in terms of like waiver claims, and teams keep giving him opportunities. I just got to
and
see
what
more.
about what about the catcher Jackson?
Oh, that's a yeah. So we were talking about Jeremiah Jackson being a guy who's been on the prospect radar for a while. So is Alex Jackson. He was the sixth overall pick in 2014, sixth overall by the Mariners.
Wow.
And he's gotten a lot of opportunities, but he's just never hit at the major league level. He has a little bit this year with the Orioles, but he's got tools. I mean, he's got a really good arm behind the plate. He's got power. It's just that he's just never been able to hit. And the Rays gave him a ton of opportunities last year, and he sort of became a punchline for Rays fans because he was like the worst hitter in baseball. And the
Yeah.
Rays kept catching him like four times a week. And it was just a total Rays thing. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, absolutely, I could see him being a guy. And let me ask you this: is it possible that there's like a three catcher setup next year where maybe Adley catches 80 games, Basayo catches 40, and Jackson catches 40? Yeah, I
I,
don't.
I'm just telling you flat out. I think there's something to the Orioles exploring Rutschman trades. I
Mm,
really do. I really do. Ross, let me ask you the same question, but I do want to ask you a question about. I know you're in Florida, so you don't see every pitch, every game, or anything. Have you seen ends much at all?
Yeah,
Dietrich
just a
ends.
couple times,
Yeah.
and that's
Is it
really all.
possible that a guy who was clearly not a major league caliber starting pitcher, when they're put in the bullpen, suddenly things are just easier when you're only facing hitters like one time?
It can be. I
Yeah,
mean, it can be easier, but again, you're in the bullpen. They're gonna at times they're gonna need you maybe day after day,
yeah,
a few times, and some guys don't handle that. It's like going from the starting to the bullpen sounds easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, there's you got to learn how to warm up. I mean, you gotta warm up what the you have to know if there's a good chance you're going to get in, and how you just don't start warming up and blowing, and just throwing, getting loose as much as you can. You throw a few pitches, you better get it. You got 8 pitches or so that you need to be able to get loose because you got a few more when you get to the mound. And that's a learning thing that you got to go through, and that can be tough for guys,
all
and
right,
just not knowing how to do it. But you got to have people in the bullpen coaching wise that know this,
yeah.
or a pitching coach that can pass this on. And I don't know in this day and age, you don't have guys with the experience. I tell you, one of the big things I think the O's have to do, they have to get pitching wise and player wise, they need to get some guys with experience. And that they need a clubhouse leader. And from what you've heard, what I've heard, and they seem to think that's lacking with this ball club
Yeah.
on the field. Now, you got, and some guys can lead by example, and other guys, I mean, you got to have, because none of these guys have ever been through a World Series, or they've never won a game in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big thing, and they need some people there that have actually done that and been there and can pass on some things that might help them.
All right. In 2 minutes or so, you got to cut three, four names of guys that have impressed you, and they can be repeat names to
Yeah,
Luke's
no,
name.
I mean, obviously, Holiday, Henderson. I think Rushman is much bigger and needed. I think unless something happens, they get somebody. But Cowser, Westberg, I tell you, and the other big thing is they're going to have to find a way to keep these guys healthy. I don't know what's going on, but that has been a tremendous problem, and that's something that they're going to have to address.
Somebody sent me a text the other night after the Cal celebration. They said the Orioles are going to celebrate Tyler O'Neill if he plays 10 straight games next year.
Yeah,
I'm not going
that's
to say
true.
who that was. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
who that was. Okay.
I'll tell you another thing that, and I
But
learned this.
are any of these fringe names like Luke pointed out? You know, uh,
Well,
obviously we know that.
understand something, and I know we've talked about this, and this is something I learned a long time ago.
Yeah,
And spring training in September, you don't fall in love with guys.
yeah.
That's a big thing. That I
Well,
mean,
some of
there's a
these
lot more.
guys, like Jeremiah Jackson, we fell in love with in August. Is that
No,
allowed? Is
he's a
that
guy
allowed?
that swung the bat, and you're sitting there going, "What? He had a 15-game hitting streak.
Yeah.
He was hitting the ball. Now, finding a position for him, that's another thing, And I think they're trying to find something for him. Uh, but yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I, I
Beavers.
I I think they would love Jeremiah to be a utility guy who can actually hit.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
they're in the process of trying to figure out where he can actually play.
Well,
Uh,
no, that's exactly
I'd
right.
like, but I'd like to see them experiment a little bit, and maybe they'll do it in September. Let him. Jackson Holiday doesn't have to start every single game.
right,
He's not going to beat Cal Ripken's record. Let's see Jeremiah Jackson at second base, so if Jackson Holiday gets hurt, then you got a replacement for 2 weeks, possibly.
right, right, right.
Let's
No, I
find
don't
out
disagree.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I'm sure I do agree with you, Ross. I think they're missing a leader in there, but I think the leader really needs to be a player that can
Oh, yeah,
really still hit.
absolutely. I mean,
They
it
need
has to be somebody that,
they've got
and that
so
means,
they've got so many question marks on
oh,
this
big time.
team. Yeah.
Big time.
All right.
And the defense is a big thing too.
Yeah.
The defense they gotta, and that's going to make your pitching staff even better. But
Would
you
you
got to
take the
get
job? Would you take the job if they offered it to you to be
not a
manager?
chance, not a chance.
All right.
Can I do it between
Would would
tea
Shane
times?
would Shane Turner be a good manager?
Oh, go. You know what I think about that. Yeah,
I
he's
know he would be. I know he'd be.
yeah.
He'd
I
be
mean, he
fantastic.
would be someone that if they would listen to him.
Yeah,
If an organization would listen to this guy, I mean, he could make a tremendous difference.
I know.
Just being around the players would be a
How about if
tremendous
he was
help.
just a director of player development or something?
That's
Yeah.
it would be just unbelievable. But you know what? They don't want guys. They don't want ex players.
All right. We'll
Which is sad.
continue to be continued next Monday. That's going to do it for today. We thank our friends at the Costas Inn. Do they get 6 thumbs
We
up
didn't do
today?
thumbs up, but we're
We
gonna
didn't
give them
do
thumbs up
thumbs up
right now.
today.
We got them now.
We got them now. We got them covered. All right, that's going to do it for today. For Luke Jackson, Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan Charles, and we'll see you back here next Monday around the same time. Hi, everybody.